Welcome everybody to the Chinchilla Pickin' Podcast. It is February the 16th, 2025 at 3:22 p.m. My name is David Underwood. I'm joined by the one and only the Baron of Bonds himself, Brandon Beaver. But as always, we hope to be entertaining, educational, and uplifting because we want everyone to make money. Brandon, how are you doing today?
Great, great. Perfectly timed rain delay for us to get this show in at the
Rain delay
Daytona
on what
500.
may you ask? Pray you ask.
Daytona 500.
Boo! It's watching cars go around in a circle. I'm sorry. If you're a NASCAR fan, that's fine. That's great. I'm not, and I like making fun of Brandon because we're friends anytime I
Watching
can.
watching cars go around in circles at 200 miles an hour with a half of an inch of a possibility. If you just go the wrong direction, you're getting into a wreck.
It does take skill, yes. It takes an extreme amount of
Whoa, I
skill,
have
yes.
no idea what just happened there. You just turned into a transformer or something. That was weird.
What?
Yeah,
Okay.
you just like I don't know, some audio issue there. I'm gonna keep it in so
I
people
I
know what I'm
I
talking about.
didn't notice anything, so maybe it's just you. So
It
maybe
might be.
nobody noticed anything.
It might be.
Just you. Brandon, what kind of stuff are you taking over there? All right. Yes, snow in the Northeast. I know we were not expecting it here in Cincinnati. I checked the weather Saturday morning and it said mostly rain with a occasional flurry. And I wake up and there's just snow coming down in buckets and we got a few inches. And what's up with that? The weather people did not even get close to calling that correctly.
Well, last night they said that it was gonna be thunder snow. So like around 11 o'clock when it was thundering here and stuff, and we were going through the thunderstorms, it said thunder snow was coming, which is like the second or third time in my life I've experienced something like that. A thunderstorm with snow coming down instead of rain. That's Ohio
Hmm.
weather for you.
Well, anyways, I wasn't expecting to wake up to that. Nice surprise for
E-
me.
Every year we get like a once in a lifetime weather event here.
Well, we could go into how the the meteorologists get things right, wrong, what they call farmer's almanac, all that kind of stuff. I think a farmer's almanac, just like reading an astrology book at this point, it's not. Is it over 50% correct anymore? Even
I think of Farmer's Almanac just like I would think of reading Seeking Alpha
or Motley Fool?
or watching Jim Cramer.
There you go. Yeah, there's the inverse Kramer fund that you can invest in, and they just go opposite of what Kramer says, and they actually are positive and they make money. So what does that tell you? Um, anyways, yes, not much happened big news wise that I'm aware of in the markets. It was I watched the CNBC, Bloomberg, and a lot of it was Trump, tariffs, Musk, Doge. Those were the headlines. Those were all the big headlines. I know we briefly had upon the RFK and what would happen if he got nominated, if that would affect the food industry, if you're going to short Mondelez, if he got not confirmed. He did get confirmed. I did not check whether Mondelez or Kellogg's or General Mills dropped after he got confirmed. But my question's still out there. Him being now actually confirmed and taken office and been very clear about what direction he wants to take. Those companies need to really take a look at it because you've seen the videos. You hold up an American Fruit Loops next to a European Fruit Loops, and it looks completely different. And the amount of ingredients in there is completely different. And, I actually agree with him on the direction of getting rid of, all these preservatives and extra food colorants that are not healthy for us. So I think that's going to be a cost hit to directly to the bottom line of Kellogg's and General Mills immediately
You know,
within the next year or two.
and, yeah, it might be. I don't know what kind of production or how they can expand upon, bringing the same stuff that they have in Europe here too. I don't know. Back in 2008, I think it was. I went to Korea for about 3 months, to South Korea with an ex-girlfriend. And before we went, she said you should take a picture of the back of this orange juice. We picked up a bottle of all natural orange juice and took a picture of it. And she said, "Okay, when you get to Korea, let's look at it and compare." And then I don't even remember what it was. It was like 30 grams of sugar or something like that for a serving, and the all natural here in the United States. And then I picked up a bottle of all natural orange juice in Korea, and the difference in the amount of sugar was just insane. Absolutely
Right.
nuts. I don't remember the exact numbers because it was so long ago, but I just that stands out in my memory. What we call all natural here and what we're allowed to put on our labels here is so different than what they put on their labels everywhere else.
Yeah, and so I agree with RFK's stance in regards to those type of things, like you just mentioned.
Yeah.
How we label our foods and type of ingredients we're allowed to put in. So, anyways, that's some of the news that happened this week. That was all over the headlines. It's just still Doge, 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 tariffs, tariffs, tariffs. What are we gonna do? EU's threatening tariffs against the United States now. So, United States, may just equal them and match them. We did reach a deal with India. It's not signed deal, so it's not confirmed, but a trade deal has been reached between India and the United States. So hopefully that will settle those emotions a little bit, and we can focus on other areas. I know Trump has said that he will match the EU tariffs that they are going to raise and impose against us. I know that in the Four Nations hockey playoff recently, Canadians booed the American hockey team, and Americans beat them 3-1. So there you go, USA. Um, Sorry, I just had to throw that in there. Uh, but yeah, that's just the news from this week. There was a lot of good earnings. I'm going to cover one of them. Brandon and I did not. So let's get into it. News, news, news. Brandon and I did not talk before the show. We literally got on and hit play and record. We have not discussed. I have no idea what Brandon's going to talk about. He has no idea what I'm going to talk about. This should be fun. Brandon, take it away.
All right. So I was just going through Walmart's earnings again. Um,
Whoa, whoa. Walmart reports earnings on Thursday.
well, no, I was going through the previous earnings because I wanted to look at their full year. And one thing that I recognized is that Walmart's e-commerce revenue hit $100 billion in the fiscal year that ended in January of 2024. And that was 2023 to 2024, obviously. Went higher last year. Walmart is now um, about a fifth of the size of Amazon's, which was compared to 10% of Amazon in 2017. So large growth there in e-commerce for Walmart. This continues to be the one retail giant that we have been preaching to have in your portfolio for years, and I still think that that is the case. About 12% of US consumers have a Walmart Plus membership, while 62% have Amazon Prime. To me, this comparison, 12% to 62%, that's not a negative on Walmart because I think that they're increasing their opportunities. They're continuing to go in the right direction. To me, that 12% of US consumers having Walmart Plus membership to 62% having Amazon Prime, that's opportunity for Walmart, and that shows the potential for growth. Go ahead, Dave. I can't hear anything you're saying.
Sorry, I turn my mic off when
Yeah.
you talk so that I don't interrupt you. I will mention that Amazon, for the first time ever in total revenue as a company, passed Walmart in Q3 of last year for the
I
first time ever.
I think both belong in your portfolio.
Well, here's the facts. So for just that quarter, they passed Walmart, but for total year, Walmart was still number one. So Walmart is still considered the biggest retailer in the world currently, even though Amazon now finally had the first quarter ever that they passed them in total revenue,
Wow.
which is amazing considering. Amazon's in so many other things other than just selling, like Amazon Web Services, so on and so forth. So as a company, it's an umbrella company, has all these other pieces on it when Walmart doesn't. Walmart's a retailer, and yet they're still holding on against Amazon,
And they are, and Amazon has yet to be able to crack the brick and mortar retail space as well. So
right?
Walmart has that as a leg up on Amazon for sure. And I mean, people kind of cracked down on Walmart about 10 years ago. Um, well, I wouldn't say it was about 10 years ago. I think it was probably about 6 or 7 years ago when Walmart started making investments in such things as Flipkart in India. Their capital expenditures increased about 80% to 42 billion. People started dropping the stock like a rock a little, for a little bit there. But I mean, these investments are paying off. We're starting to see the payoff long term here for Walmart. I think it's a great thing. Um, and it comes to down to the fact that people will oftentimes panic sell before they think through it or before they actually get the details right. And that's going to be the case with another company that I'm about to go into here in just a few minutes, Google. So let it be a lesson to think through things, give it time for all the data to come out before you make a rash decision.
Yeah, 100%. Unless, and there's a lot of caveats, but if it's a company you're looking at purchasing or you own it and you're thinking about selling, I mean, have some good structural fundamental reasons for why you're doing it, not just some macro events of the moment or the day. Unless, of course, those macro events are huge, but those are rare. So,
Right. Right. So let's go through some of their investments that they made. They invested in automating their fulfillment centers. Uh, Volume was automated. Let's see, more than half of Walmart's fulfillment centers volume was automated in the last reported quarter. That was double than what it was a year before. Automation has helped reduce U.S. delivery costs per order by 40% for their e-commerce division. E-commerce growth expands high margin sources of revenue such as membership income and advertising sales.
hey,
Um,
Brandon,
yes,
I want to jump in on that automation. That's going to be huge for Walmart being competitive with Amazon because Amazon's having its union issues right now nationwide. Everybody's wants to union be a union member at Amazon facilities, and if Walmart and can go ahead and automate majority of all of its fulfillment and distribution centers before there's any trouble at Walmart facilities, that's going to give them a competitive edge and a moat that Amazon's not going to be able to crack if Amazon facilities become union.
right. I agree. They're using artificial intelligence here too to make sure that more online sales are giving Walmart more valuable traffic and consumer data that can be monetized. Here's an interesting statistics here that I did not expect this. I saw this in the earnings report. Membership and advertising accounted for nearly one-third of Walmart's overall operating income in the last quarter.
Really?
Yeah,
So they just they ran that program out 2 years ago, Walmart Plus, right? That's the
right,
program you're talking about.
right.
So it's a brand new program and it's already producing how much did you say?
One-third of their
One
operating
third.
income.
Man, that's
Yeah.
impressive in just two
Mhm.
years.
I know. It really caught me off guard when I read that.
When they roll something out, they roll it out, don't they?
Yeah. And on top of that, I mean, their competition's getting weaker too, other than Amazon. Dollar stores are scrambling to catch up after years of underinvestment.
I don't think
Large
dollar
ship.
stores are Amazon's competition. I think Amazon's going after Kroger. I think
No,
Amazon is
no,
still
I'm not talking
competitive.
about Amazon. I'm talking about Walmart.
Oh yeah, Walmart. Sorry, my bad. I said Amazon. I meant Walmart. Walmart's going after Kroger. Walmart's not going. The competition is not dollar stores. It's
It
going
was.
after Kroger. It's going after Target. It's going after all these other companies that don't believe that their competition is Walmart. And Walmart's like, no, we are your competition,
Yeah, but
and you need to adjust.
I think you're thinking regionally. So think about all the rural areas in the United States that their options are Walmart or Family Dollar or Dollar Tree.
Okay, all right, yeah, I'll give you that. There, okay.
Yeah, and Kroger here in Cincinnati. and in this region is definitely big competition for Walmart, but a big, hit to that was the fact that the Justice Department blocked the merger between Kroger and Albertsons.
Yeah, but Kroger's still huge all over this nation, except for the it doesn't have a West Coast presence, and that's why the merger with Albertsons was going to give it because Albertsons is strong on the West Coast of the United States, and that would have given Kroger the total nationwide map completely covered, and they would have been fine. And but now that yeah, like you said, it got blocked, it didn't go through. But Kroger's still going to expand out west. It's just now they have to do it slowly versus let's just do a merger and be done.
Right. Now, speaking of Walmart Plus and the membership program, a survey done by Evercore ISI Research last year discovered that about 90% of Walmart Plus members said that they were definitely or most likely renewing.
Huh.
Store remodels have been significant. They've resulted in a higher end feel, cleaner environment, better merchandising, better sight lines. Um, Again, they've increased their percentage of high end customers of people that make $100,000 or more a year. You know what? I think
Hold
that
on.
those are. Go
So
ahead.
I want to interrupt you there, right? And so I
Right.
know you hate when I do this, but you make a point and then you move into like five other points. I want to talk about the point you just made,
Mhm.
and the higher income because you're reading off again. I want to specify to anybody listening right now. Brandon's reading off Q3 results. They Walmart has not reported Q4 or year results, full year results. They don't report until I have it written down here Thursday before the bell.
Right.
So that's what I'm looking for is exactly what you just said. That I have it written down here as one of my notes to mention was I'm looking to see they are still taking in more of those medium high because I don't think $100,000 a year anymore is high income. I think that's upper middle class.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, and maybe even middle class just because of
yeah,
inflation.
yeah, and so I is Walmart still grabbing those though? Are they still grabbing the upper middle class shoppers? And that's one of the numbers I want to see on Thursday when they report. Is I'll be looking at are they grabbing that demographic? Are they continuing to see growth in the e-commerce? And how competitive now are they with Amazon now that Amazon beat them for the first quarter for one quarter ever for first time ever?
Yeah.
What are they going to even mention that, or are they just going to be like, we're still year over year beating them, you know?
Yeah. Who knows if they'll mention it on the conference call? I'm interested in knowing what their new results. They've got a new store brand called Better Goods. And one thing that kind of captured the people's attention is that they've got a knockoff version of the Hermes Birkin bag, the Workin. It went viral recently, quickly sold out. Better Goods seems to be doing good, just based on that front. I want to see from Walmart's earnings if they mention Better Goods and as the store brand and what they have to say about that. Um, I don't know if they'll mention their competition, but just continuously seems that Target is constantly falling behind here. Um, Still not touching Target. Walmart still seems to me like it's the only big box retailer that is doing well right now, in my opinion.
I've always said that.
Yeah,
I said there's only two retailers that I would touch, and in the past, and one is Walmart. The other was Costco. Costco has now become political the past month or two, and that never usually ends up well either side
yeah,
for any company. Because there's always backlash from the other side. So, and it
yeah.
just makes me concerned about Costco. But the Costco still has a strong membership and growth there. So right now, I still see Costco as a good one to own. But Walmart and Costco, yeah, those are the only
Yeah.
two I've ever said I would own.
I mean, this is a 65-year-old retailer in Walmart that I see a lot of good growth ahead for. And
Right, and if people get upset with Costco over the political, they're going to go to where? Sam's Club.
yeah,
So I mean, Walmart's a beneficiary if Costco continues going down that road. I mean, that's going to be the person who wins. So in the end, Walmart's going to win no matter what. It's a win-win for Walmart. They're happy because they stay apolitical. They don't get involved in
Right.
these things. They just
Right.
stay quiet and say, "Hey, we're just going to sell goods here. We're not going to make political statements."
Yep. Everyday low prices.
Roll
Full
back.
game. All right. Well, speaking of, I don't know, how do I transition here? I talked about how people dropped Walmart when they panic sold because of the Flipkart acquisition. Again, people dropped Google just a couple of weeks ago over the whole DeepSeek thing and panic over that. And I'm going to tell you why that was the wrong move here in a minute. But I want to dig into Google a little bit deeper here before I talk about that.
I
Um,
own Google long term, so
yeah, me too. So they generate 90% of their revenue from Google services, predominantly through advertising. Google Cloud, and this is important, Google Cloud accounts for 10% of revenue, with other investments in emerging technologies such as self-driving cars and health, which is in their company Verily. Alphabet did report strong fourth quarter earnings. I think it was like February 5th when they came out, with 12% year over year increase in sales and a 460 basis point improvement in operating margins. Projected revenue growth this year is 10% annually over the next 5 years, actually, driven by Google Search, YouTube, and Google Cloud. I mean, that's not, you know, that's not mind-blowing numbers by any means, and it's lower than what we were used to 10, 15 years ago, but at a price to earnings ratio at around 20, I'm still calling this a buy for sure.
well, it's 100% a buy. But like, I want to point out like the Google search, the Google ads, advertising, all of that, and YouTube and everything is still like, yes, they've lost market share over the past, say, 5 years. But what has taken that market share? And I can tell you, it's TikTok, Snapchat, Instagram. They've taken that market share from Google, but Google is still leading the pack, even with a TikTok in the playing field, even with Instagram,
Yeah,
Snapchat, all these
yeah.
other things in the playing field. They are still winning. So that's a strong company, if you
Yeah.
ask me. you
You,
know,
YouTube's numbers are mind-blowing. Those are
right?
mind-blowing. But what I wanted to focus in here is on the Google Cloud, where sales are expected to grow at 26% annually. And this is going to become an increasingly significant part of Alphabet's overall revenue. Um, Morningstar recently came out with a report that said that DeepSeek is actually good for Google because of the cloud. And what they say is that the large language models are actually complementary goods to the Google Cloud. And the reason is this: the usage of a large language model enhances the value of the cloud infrastructure because people, when they use the large language model, when these businesses do, they need good cloud infrastructure and high power performance to be able to use the large language model. So when these large language models, when the price of these come down, then people tend to use them more, and usage goes up, adoption by business goes up, and that means that it is way even more necessary for these businesses to adopt cloud vendors like Amazon, Microsoft, and Google. And Google is the third largest right now. They're growing very fast, so they may overtake Microsoft at some point. So actually, if you're looking at this, if people drop this because they said, well, Google's making their own chips and everything, and they've spent so much money on adopting this technology. If this company out of China is doing this for only $6 million, then we're going to drop Google because that means that their chip division becomes less valuable. But the flip side of this is that their cloud division becomes more valuable. And that is actually more of a percentage of the revenue than the chips are.
Right.
So I agree with this. Morningstar's report says actually this increases the value of Google because it means that people are going to be more reliant on Google Cloud over time.
And Microsoft has lost market share this past year in 2024 on cloud services.
Right.
Amazon Web Services picked up some of that. Google has also picked up some of that.
Yes, yes. So let me summarize this. Lower prices for LLMs, large language models, drive higher adoption rates as more organizations use language models. The demand for cloud infrastructure provided by Amazon, Microsoft, and Google increases, benefiting these cloud vendors more in the long run. This dynamic creates a mutually beneficial relationship between the two. Affordable LLMs promote the use of cloud infrastructure, and robust cloud services support the effective deployment of LLMs. So, this is actually not a bad thing for Google in any
Yeah,
way.
and DeepSeek's
So,
expanding. Baidu is going to be Baidu is considered the Google of China. They are going to be also using DeepSeek and allowing DeepSeek to be used on its systems and using it as its AI services. I'm surprised Baidu doesn't have their own web services platform. I'm sure they do have a
right,
cloud platform that
right,
DeepSeek could be using, but
right. Yeah, I
you
mean,
know,
so this is just one of those things too. Sorry if you sold this thing, but use your brain before you sell. Don't panic.
yeah. I mean, Google is going to be around another 10, 20 years. I don't see a reason why it wouldn't be.
Yeah,
They're continuing to expand. They have new ideas, fresh new ideas, different areas they're expanding into the Waymo, however you pronounce it, AI driven car services, autonomous vehicle. You know, it's they have other areas they're growing other than just their search engine. The search engine is the cash cow that's paying for all these new ideas and things that Google has.
right. Yeah, and the fact that Google manufactures their own tensor processing units, the TPUs, that means that cloud infrastructure and building out cloud infrastructure for them is much cheaper than it is for anybody else that does not have that kind of technology. Um, it's much cheaper to go with Google, Amazon, or Microsoft than it is if you're a business to build out your own, which would be just mind-numbingly expensive.
Yeah, and they have like strong services, and because they're so big and expansive, they can offer that a discount rate to somebody who's up and coming new, and they have to charge more to continue to build out.
Yep.
Cool. All
Yep.
right, man. Let me
Hold
move in
on,
here too.
hold on.
Oh,
It's just 1 second. 1 second. I'm sorry. Talking about, I mentioned the mind-blowing YouTube numbers, so I just want to talk about those for a second. The platform has more than 2 billion monthly users, with 1 billion hours of YouTube content viewed daily on TV alone. YouTube has parlayed this ubiquity to enter the subscription business as well. The platform subscriptions, including YouTube Music and YouTube Premium, have more than 100 million subscribers, while YouTube TV, an offering that resembles the traditional TV bundle, also boasts more than 8 million subscribers. That's also from Morningstar. So,
boom. Big
yeah.
business. Big. But that
Big
was one of
business.
the best acquisitions Google ever made was buying YouTube.
Google now has $96 billion in cash.
That's crazy.
Imagine that.
Can they loan a brother a billion?
Right?
Seriously. All right. So talking about chips, let's move in here. I got three headlines for you, Brandon. Three different topics. I want to talk about each one real quick as fast as I can because I know we're going to spend a little bit of time on each one. Here we go, Brandon. Lightning round. You ready?
Hmm.
Headline reads: Broadcom, TSMC, or Taiwan Semiconductor, eye possible Intel deal to split the storied chip maker. This was reported by the Wall Street Journal on Saturday. So Broadcom has been closely examining Intel's chip design and marketing business, the journal reported, adding that the company had discussed a potential bid with its advertisers, but would likely only proceed if it found a partner for Intel's manufacturing business, because they didn't want that part. Well, Taiwan Semiconductor wants that part of the business. So there is talks about a possible deal for Broadcom and Taiwan Semiconductor to work together to buy out Intel. This
Ooh.
has you got Frank Geary, who's the interim executive chairman. He's been leading the discussions with possible suitors. He hasn't mentioned which one he's favoring, But there's also some problem here. A White House official told Reuters on Friday that President Donald Trump's administration might not support Intel's U.S. chip factories being operated by a foreign entity after Bloomberg reported that Taiwan Semiconductor was considering taking a controlling stake in Intel's factories at Trump's request. Kind of like they're reporting that it's still up in the air. We don't know if this is going to get approved. Taiwan Semiconductor is probably not going to make a bid if they don't think they're going to get approval by the current administration. Intel was recently they were one of the largest beneficiaries of the U.S. push to onshore critical chip manufacturing. If you remember the CHIPS Act that passed Congress, that's what this is talking about. The U.S. Commerce Department said in November it was finalizing a 7.86 billion government subsidy for Intel, and that's just for that company alone. However, that's kind of what Taiwan Semiconductor wants is those U.S. factories and those
Yes.
deals to continue to build more. That's what they want. And so, is this going to get off? Is it not going to get off? If Taiwan Semiconductor is able to close this deal, that's going to be huge for that company, specifically, especially with the continued, problems that they're having with China and their manufacturing plants in Taiwan being at risk. This would give them even more offshore factories, which would help them out in the long term. Taiwan Semiconductor's customers include NVIDIA, AMD,
Mhm.
all the big ones you could think of all around the world, all use Taiwan Semiconductor. And if they could have plants here in the United States, it could actually be better for having NVIDIA's chips made here and not overseas. Having said all that, there's no current talks from Intel about who they are favoring as far as being bought out, but they are looking for someone to buy them out. Brandon, thoughts?
Taiwan Semiconductor is a company that I consider to be the most strategically important company for national security altogether. 67% of our chips for our computers, for our automotives, for everything that we use chips in these days, 67% are manufactured by Taiwan Semiconductors. The Trump
This is why
administration,
Intel was so key, though. This is why Intel was so key because Intel made its own chips. So it had manufacturing plants as well as developing the chips. And that's what made Intel different. But Intel was unable to secure deals because they overpromised and couldn't deliver and they lost the contracts. That's what put them in the place they're in
yeah,
now.
they were terrible at finances, but this is why one of the reasons why they're so key to this deal. Intel has the built-in infrastructure now here in the United States to create these chips. I really think that this deal needs to go through. I think that the Trump administration should look at this as a big benefit to the rest of the world. If Taiwan Semiconductor can move some of its manufacturing here to the United States or more of it, because I know they had already planned on doing some, but if they can do it more of it here at a cheaper cost and use already existing infrastructure, that's a problem for China, but it's a good thing for us.
Gotcha. I see what you're saying. So you think Trump administration might actually approve this and have it go through?
I think they should.
Okay.
Yeah, that takes a huge, like one of the chips that China uses in their game of global poker is Taiwan Semiconductor, the threat to take over China and the threat to nationalize Taiwan Semiconductor and essentially control the world's technology through that. If they can't do that, then they've got a large bargaining chip taken off the table.
Gotcha. All right. Fair enough. I said there's gonna be lightning round moving into the very next one. You ready?
Yep.
Headline reads: Elon Musk says xAI's Grok 3 chatbot is going to be unveiled on Monday. Did everybody know this was coming? In a chat group that Brandon and I are part of, someone shared who bought Tesla at the end of the week last week. Well, everybody bought Tesla at the end of the week last week. Ray Dalio bought 153,000 shares. Charles Schwab bought 780,000 shares. Goldman Sachs bought 1 million shares. BlackRock bought 7.4 million shares. Vanguard bought 3.6 million shares. And Drunken Millers bought 37,000 shares. And then all of a sudden, they get announced this on Saturday that the AI chatbot's being unveiled on Monday. Brandon, did everybody in Wall Street know this was going to happen or what? Or did they just see a
Uh,
buying opportunity?
I mean, they might have. There's a lot more insider trading than we would like to think there is. So they might have known it. But also, when you've got your CEO now as kind of the right hand man for the president, who's still the leader of the free world, that creates a pretty big moat for your companies that you own, or companies like
True.
Tesla, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, that in itself makes Tesla a good investment right now, I think.
Okay. So there you go. I just thought I would throw that out there, see if anything bit. Brandon, this one I only saw and I only read it because of you. So the headline reads, this came out yesterday at 7:50 p.m. Argentina's opposition threatens an impeachment trial after Milei touts a crypto coin. So Argentine President Javier Milei could face an impeachment trial in Congress as opposition lawmakers are considering an impeachment on the libertarian leader. What happened was on late Friday, he posted on X recommending a little known crypto coin called Libra, which soon after shot up to nearly $5 a piece. Just hours after that, the currency plummeted to under $1. So the Argentine fintech chamber acknowledged that the case could potentially be a rug pull, in which the developers of the crypto token draw legitimate investments after pumping up the value, only to dump their stake. This is a scandal. This is a quote from one of the lawmakers of the opposition. This scandal, which embarrasses us on an international scale, requires us to launch an impeachment request against the president. Millet deleted the post on X with local media saying the post had been up for only a few hours on Friday night. A quote from Millet was, I was not aware of the details of the project, and once I found out, I decided to not continue giving it publicity.
Mm.
Brandon.
It was a mistake. That was a mistake, and you can't make mistakes when you're in the position that he's in right now. You're tearing down um, government organizations, government owned entities that have been in place for years and years and years, and that have very powerful lobbyists in place that are going to be looking to come after you because you're doing the right things, right? You're
Right.
doing the absolute right thing. You've got a lot of enemies right now. You need to recognize that and be very, very careful with what you're doing.
Yep. And it might hurt the Argentine community. All right.
I mean, it
Well,
might, but you know what? The thing is they're looking for an impeachment before they even do a investigation, which is, that's normal for government.
all
And
right. Final thoughts, Brandon.
we're doing final thoughts already. I wasn't
No,
ready
no.
for
I,
that.
I my final thought's going to take an extra minute, so go ahead.
Okay, okay, all right. Well, Warren Buffett's Berkshire Hathaway announced that they're purchasing Constellation Brands. I'm not going to second guess Warren Buffett, but I want to use this as a reason to why you don't follow other people into stocks just because they bought a stock, right? I was looking at Constellation Brands, looks way overvalued to me, makes no sense as to why they bought it to my mind and to what I was looking at. They may have gotten a special deal. I'm sure it'll work out in the end for them, but I'm not buying Constellation Brands just because Warren Buffett bought it because I'm going to be very skeptical of it. If I don't know the reason why I'm buying something, I don't understand the reason why I'm buying it, and I'm not going to buy it at all. Right?
There you go. Monday markets closed for President's Day. Tuesday, you have Occidental Petroleum after the bell coming out. Warren Buffett's currently down on this stock right now. Wednesday is the company Fiverr, Fiverr. If you don't not aware of this company, they do like little gigs, 5 minute gigs, 10 minute gigs, hour gigs, 2 hour gigs for individuals. What I'm looking forward to here is I'm interested in reading their earnings report and hearing their earnings call because of how it affects the job market. So are people going there and replacing the job, or are they just doing this as in addition to their job? Are they working a part-time job, then working a Fiverr part-time? I'm interested in the earnings call for that reason. So we'll see. We'll see. Thursday is Walmart. Like I said, I'm listening to Walmart on Thursday. I want to know, are they still pulling in these upper middle class shoppers? And lastly, for my final thought, Coinbase. I believe Coinbase is going to continue having a great year. They blew it away in the fourth quarter. Their earnings per share was $4.68 versus $1.81 expected. They actually went down after they posted this. Great, huge, huge quarter. Their trading volume was 439 billion. It was up 185% year over year. Customer trading volume rose 224% year over year. Year over year growth was outrageous. Was it because of Trump getting elected? Probably had a lot to do with it. But I believe it's going to continue. Coinbase continues to try to diversify how they bring in their income. They're looking at other ways rather than just trading expenses or staking or stable coins. They're trying to have more than just a handful of products that they have. So I like Coinbase going into this year. I think it's one good to buy and hold on. Not every analyst agrees with me. Some do, some don't. So do your research, look at it, let me know what you think. So, all right. As always, we hope we have been entertaining, educational, and uplifting because we want everyone to make money. Brandon has to go watch cars do circles now.
I gotta go to my hillbilly sports.
Have a good night.
Have a good night.